Free agency has hit, and man, there's a bunch of deals going down. A ton of deals. Some shocking, some not so shocking. I'd like to start off with the CP3 deal. 4 years, $160 million. For CP3 is like congratulations. It's sort of like a situation where a person's looking for a church home and then they finally found it and everything fits. With Houston, it fits with him and James Harden, which a lot of people didn't think it would. He didn't take the 5 year deal, which would have been like 200 plus million, because he doesn't want that pressure. I mean, you're already getting $40 million a year. Plus, that gives the Houston Rockets a little wiggle room to go ahead and secure some other players like Clint Capella and stuff like that. But congratulations, CP3. You finally found you a nice church home. But in all seriousness, I feel like this deal is really good for CP3 due to the fact that I don't think any other team would risk signing him for 4 or 5 years for $200+ million or $160 million after the fact that he had a hamstring injury. Like, Chris Paul has been injury prone for many years, especially during the playoffs. So I really don't see him going anywhere else other than Houston. He burned his bridges with the Clippers, and everybody else sees that he wants to go to a title contender. Therefore, he's not going to sign a long-term deal with anybody else. That being said, it only makes sense for him to stay in Houston. They're up against the Golden State Warriors 3-2. Everybody argues the fact that, hey, if he wasn't injured, maybe they go to the NBA Finals and they definitely win it. So this is a great deal for Houston. Great deal for Paul, because it's not going to put like a lot of pressure on him. Like, when he wouldn't be like 38 years old getting 40-some million dollars. He's going to be like 37, final year of his contract, and he can opt out, or 36 or whatever the case is. And it won't be like that big of a deal if things don't get squared away in terms of Houston and them winning a championship. But that gives them a little wiggle room to work out other deals for other guys and try to keep Clint Capella, because he's integral part of the table. Kevin Durant stays with the Golden State Warriors. 2 years, $61.5 million. I'm getting paid, I'm getting paid. That's what KD's doing right now, guys. He has first year $30 million. And it's a 1-on-1 deal. So the second year, he has a player option. He could re-sign for $31.5 million. That's very smart on Kevin Durant's part. You know, Stephen Curry's already getting that big $40 million check. You know what I'm saying? So, or 38.9, whatever they're going to split it up, however they want to split up the deal. So KD's being smart. He's getting paid for what he deserves. 2 NBA Finals, back-to-back Finals MVPs. The thing about Golden State, it has worked so superbly. You rarely see a guy go to a team and then win a championship right away like that. And for him to go to the Golden State Warriors and then win a championship after they dumped their bench, I remember the first year he came, they were like, this is not the same 73-9 Golden State Warriors team. They don't have Harrison Barnes, they don't have Spades, they don't have Bogut, they don't have Barbosa. They were very weak on the bench. And I don't know if you guys remember, Vegas had picked the Golden State Warriors to win the championship. Every sports analyst picked the Cleveland Cavaliers to go back-to-back. And what happened? I won't say everybody, but most people. Most people picked the Cleveland Cavaliers over the Golden State Warriors. They said it wasn't luck, whatever the case is. But what happened? Showed you that it was luck. Because they dumped their whole entire bench to get Kevin Durant, which is what you do. You go get the talent. People were like, I was going to work. KD needs the ball. Now, 2 years later, 2 championships later, 2 NBA Finals MVPs later, Kevin Durant inks his deal. Now, the thing I'm worried about is Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. Not so much Klay Thompson, but more Draymond Green. This dude has an ego the size of Lake Michigan. And he's from Michigan, so he know what I'm talking about. But will he, acquiesce in terms of, after his deal is up, is he going to acquiesce and say, hey, I want to stay in this for the long haul. So we'll see about that. Another deal, Trevor Ariza, 1 year, $15 million with the Phoenix Suns. Trevor Ariza just goes wherever the money goes. He's a contract year kind of player, meaning he only play well when it's a contract year. Any other year, he gives you subpar numbers. We all saw this when it came to the Western Conference Finals, Game 7. I think they missed like 39 threes or something like that. He probably missed 1/3 of those threes. So he probably missed 8 or 10 threes. He was wide open for a lot of them. I love Trevor Ariza due to the fact that he's a former Laker. We won a chip with Trevor Ariza in 2009. I know what he can be, but sometimes he's like a con artist or a choke artist, so to speak, where he can only play well when his contract year is coming. Like, other than that, he doesn't give you much. So there it is with him. He's moved on to, I want to say, greener pastures, because he was a title contender with Houston. He should have took less, but he's he sees how the market is. He might have got somebody pregnant, so he's like, I got to take my money, guys. And he went to Phoenix. You look at Ilyasova, 3 years, I believe $21 million deal or $24 million deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. I thought he was going to stay in Philly, but apparently not. So, and Philly, for me, Ilyasova and Philly was a really good teaming up situation, a really good place where he could go and flourish and thrive because he's a shooter and they need shooters around Ben Simmons and Embiid. But he went back to the Bucks. I think he feels comfortable there. He knows what Jason Kidd is capable of, and he's just more comfortable in that situation. Free agency, I feel like the Spurs are doing really well. They locked up Rudy Gay. I think it was 1 year, $10 million, and they got Bellinelli back. So another guy from Philly, which I thought he would be great in Philly. Bellinelli's going to the San Antonio Spurs, 2 years, $12 million, $6 million a year. Spurs, if they can entice LeBron James to go there, we're talking about Kawhi, we're talking about LeBron, we're talking about Bellinelli, we're talking about Rudy Gay. That's a formidable team. We're talking about LaMarcus Aldridge. So Spurs are hanging tight. They're hanging tough. I don't know what they're gonna do with Kawhi. Kawhi wants to go to LA. We don't know if LeBron's going to go to LA. If LeBron goes to LA, all bets are off. Kawhi's, I bet he'll sit or something. He'll do something detrimental to his career just to get out of there because he just doesn't like the way things were handled. But Spurs did some good signings or whatever the case is. I'm pretty sure Kawhi Leonard gets traded. Rudy Gay gets the starting spot. So that's going to be something to watch there. Another deal I wanted to talk about, which I don't understand, Paul George, 4 years, $137 million. He did something really crazy. Like, he basically gave the OKC Thunder a discount. What was even more crazy is the fact that the OKC Thunder barber, Scissorhands, at Scissorhands Thunder OKC, he said the deal was going to come out the day before it did. He was like, I got some good news for you OKC fans. I gave Paul George a ride to the airport. So, I mean, Russell Westbrook held a party for him. He's very happy to keep him. Melo's staying. Of course, he opted into his option. But to me, those three don't work, guys. They just don't work. They don't play a good enough defense. Their offense isn't working unless they're going to fire the coach or whatever the case is. But those three guys don't work together. Then Paul George had an option to sign a 2-year deal. And when the 2 years were up, then he could go for he would have veterans years served, so he could have got even more money than $137 million. He gave them basically a discount because he could have got $175 million. So I don't know what the point of this was. I really don't know what the point of this was. He turned down $200 million to stay with the Indiana Pacers. You could have got $200 million from the Pacers. So if you want to go to a team that's not going to, to me, OKC's a contender on paper, but when you watch them play, they're not a contender. So if you wanted to stay on the team that could possibly be a contender, you should have stayed with the Pacers. Should have stayed with the Pacers. Eventually, they would have brought more talent around you. You would have had $200 million in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? You don't go to LA, which, a lot of people could be upset about. I could be upset about it, but not really because Paul George is a volume shooter kind of guy. Like, he hasn't shown himself to be the kind of player that is going to win you an NBA title. So that being said, I'm not 100% mad about that. It's just, why would you... I don't see the point of this deal besides trying to, acquiesce to Russell Westbrook and be fine. But here's one thing, guys, that Paul George has to understand. KD left. James Harden is gone. All these guys are gone. Only Russell Westbrook stayed. And a lot of the friction between, even Ibaka got traded, whatever the case is. Some things happen with trade, but a lot of things were with friction. So Paul George, even though I feel like he's got a great relationship with Russell Westbrook, he's going to see what a lot of people were talking about in that regard. There are a lot of other little deals going on. Fred VanVleet, 2 years, $18 million with the Raptors. I feel like that's a redemption deal. VanVleet definitely has to redeem himself from what he did against Cleveland. I don't know what happened to that whole entire Toronto team. VanVleet wasn't balling like he was against the Wizards and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes down. A lot of deals, a lot more to come. DeAndre Jordan, 1 year, $24.1 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks, please lock his ass in a room in Dallas. I believe DeAndre Jordan is from there. Lock him in there, please. Please lock that man in there. It made no sense for him to go back on a deal he did last time. Now he's coming back to you guys. He might burn you again. So these are a lot of things to watch out for, guys. Free agency is crazy. LeBron, we still don't know what's going on with him. Maybe something's dropping as I'm making this video. So we'll see how it goes. Let me know which deal surprised you the most. Let me know which deal you find most intriguing. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla.